Second truth this plague shows us is that the plagues point to the kindness of God in confronting our idols. Look with me at Exodus chapter 9, verse 11. Again, I don't have time to get into all of the plagues. Let me just point out two more to you. There's the plague of the boils. The uniqueness of this plague is that now it impacts specifically a group of people known as the magicians. Look with me, and the magicians could not stand before Moses because of the boils. For the boils came upon the magicians and upon all the Egyptians. This is amazing. Who are the magicians? The magicians were the ones that you turned to when you found yourself overwhelmed by life. The magicians were your medical experts. They were your doctors. The magicians, they actually worked magic. The magicians worked miracles. So when you found yourself in a pinch, you leaned on the magicians to get you out of that pinch. Notice what God does. I'm going to specifically impact them with boils so that I'm coming after the very ones you say are powerful, and I'm going to render them powerless. I'm coming after this deity, this God you are leaning on and looking to for security in life, and I'm going to render them helpless and powerless. See how he's coming after their idols? Let's look at the plague of the locusts. Exodus 10, verses 14 to 15, it says, the locusts came up over all the land of Egypt and settled on the whole country of Egypt. Such a dense swarm of locusts as had never been before, nor ever will again. They covered the face of the whole land so that the land was darkened. Here it is, and they ate all the plants in the land and all the fruit of the trees that the hail had left. Key phrase, not a green thing remained. The Egyptians were known more for being crop farmers than animal farmers. The economy of Egypt, in large part, rested on their ability to make clothes from the crops. They were known for making linen clothing. So what is God doing here when it says that they ate up all the crops? There wasn't a green thing that remained. He's coming after their economy. He's coming after their idol of money. Now, Bryan, what's the point? I don't have any magicians on speed dial. I'm not calling 1-900 numbers. I don't have crystals in my house. I've never met Dionne Warwick before. What is the point? I'm not a farmer. I'm not a crop farmer. I don't sell clothes. Many of you may be saying, I don't even wear linen. What is the point? Oh, don't be so naive. We all have idols. If you've been around Summit long enough, you know, you've heard us say that an idol is anything, even a good thing, that has become an ultimate thing. Idols are things that we look to and turn to for an ultimate sense of self-worth and value and satisfaction in life. For some of you, it could be beauty, it could be your looks, it could be money for others, success, status, could be your GPA, so on and so forth. I love what Thomas Merton says. Look at it with me. Thomas Merton writes, people may spend their whole lives climbing the ladder of success only to find once they reach the top that their ladder is leaning against the wrong wall. And it's the kindness of God in these plagues. He's taking his sledgehammer and he's dismantling the walls of Egypt. Those things they have been leaning on. And that's some of you. Some of you are here and it's a real head scratcher. And the trajectory of your career, the trajectory of your life, you're in the upper echelons of the ladder. Maybe you've reached the top and yet you survey your life and you're like, man, something is off, something is missing. And one of the kindest things God could ever do is to take the sledgehammer and knock the very thing you've been leaning on. Because if you are leaning on anything outside of Christ, you are leaning on the wrong things. In my own life, when I go through crazy seasons of suffering, and I'm not saying this is true in every season, not every time I go through hard things or you go through hard things, is it because you've been leaning on the wrong things? In fact, that's the whole book of Job. Job is described as perfect and upright. There are plenty of times when we go through suffering, and it's not because we've done anything wrong, but sometimes I have just found it helpful that when I'm going through seasons of suffering to at least entertain the question, what wall is God coming after? What wall is God coming after in your life?